Hello. Yeah, good afternoon. Today you will hear two presentations, and those are organized by Art and Technology Society. I'm coming representative of this new organization in Eindhoven. And the first presentation is about challenging medical paradigms through art and design. And the second is about a brief introduction to bio-art. And both are given by artist Kuang-Yi Ku. And he's a former dentist and currently is a bio-artist and social designer. He co-founded Taiwan Bio-Art Community, and his work often deals with human body sexuality, interspecies interaction, and medical technology, aiming to investigate the relationships among technology, individual, and environment. And we have invited because he has amazing job in the last months as a project, graduation project at the Design Academy, and he has received also a lot of international awards. So thank you very much, Kuang-Yi, for these two presentations.
Hi, everyone. So thanks for the introduction. I'm Kuang-Yi. So today I will share some of my experience and also some of my works. I will have two talks. The first one, I will introduce my personal project. And the second talk, I will briefly introduce some of the bio-art project from my own perspective. So the first one, actually, I'm from a multiple background. I graduated from dental school, and after that, I worked as a dentist for several years. And recently, I work as an artist and designer at the same time. So, because of my background, so generally, I am interested in medical technology. So most of my works is related to medicine. The story goes back to when I was a dental student. After my dental school, I went to a science school for studying dental material. So I kind of was working on material research, biomaterial research. But at that moment, I felt a bit disappointed about the scientific research method because sometimes there is a bit limitation and restriction in the traditional scientific research. So after that, I tried to find other possibility. So I went to art school for learning art. So my first work is using dental material to create a series of sculpture. So basically, it's more visual art. So after the visual art training, I feel bored again because I found out actually in art and design world, there's another kind of limitation in a way. So I was struggling and I was trying to find other possibility. So I went back to my previous dental school and I was trying to bring what I learned from art school, this kind of creativity, back to medical school. You know, like medical school is very conservative and boring. So, I mean, is it possible to bring all the different fields together to develop a new way of thinking and doing? So I went back to my dental school and I discussed with my professor as what I learned from my first year in dental school. Dentistry was defined a certain kind of medicine which cure patients' disease and help patients to recover their the functionality of their oral cavity. So basically, there are three main functions. So aesthetic and chewing for food and pronunciation for speaking. So mostly for these three main functions. But so during the discussion, I was thinking that is it possible to use this kind of dental technology, but creatively, to bring more innovation to this discipline. But I couldn't find any interesting things at the moment. So one day I saw a Japanese pornographic TV show, and I got inspiration. So in the picture, you can see the left guy, he's a gay man, and the right guy is a porn star in Japan, but he's a straight guy. And the TV show means the gay man claim he can give the straight guy orgasm of penis, but actually the porn star is a heterosexual person. So it means if he can give the orgasm to him, it means there's a specific purely physical pleasure in oral sex behavior. And I saw that TV show, so I got extremely inspiration because our oral cavity have another function, and human being try to persuade sexual pleasure. There's no end, no limitation. So I'm thinking, is it possible to use dental technology to enhance this function of our oral cavity? So I made another project, try to extend the sexual function in oral cavity, which is never mentioned in my textbook. So the project is called the Flush Modification Project.
Flush Modification Project and the Connies and Lingus Modification Project are my applications of dentistry and tissue engineering. In this project, a series of oral transformation is conducted. Via the bodily transformations, this project aims at the enhancement of sensory pleasure during oral sex behavior. The Flush Modification Project focuses on gay community and is divided into two sections: male masturbation compound and the Barbie clone. Male masturbation compound. The idea of this section is inspired by the sex toy for male masturbation. The main concern of the design is to enhance the intensity of the orgasm generated by the contact between the penis and the inner surface of the masturbation cup. This contains 3 stages. Stage 1. Modify the orthodontic retainer to a wearable sex toy. During oral sex, the back and forth contacts with the raised surface would enhance the physical pleasure. I even collaborated with Science Gallery London to hold a workshop to teach people how to make this wearable device by themselves. Stage 2. I replaced the plastic material with real human tissue. This part is cooperated with Dr. Yuanmin Lin's Tissue Engineering Laboratory in Department of Dentistry, National Yangming University in Taiwan. Stage 3. I no longer use orthodontic retainer as a tool. Instead, I will surgically implant real soft tissue to oral cavity and create a permanent modification. Barbie clone. In this case, for some people, they can find it difficult to swallow the larger size of penis, for this action can result in the gagging reflex when the penis touches the pharynx and larynx. Therefore, the transformation goal is to increase the volume of the oral cavity by lengthening via the surgery. As a result, the vomiting reaction will not occur during the oral sex again. I cooperated with a gay writer and manga illustrator. The imagination of Barbie clone can grow into a co-context platform, so that the concept of my project can have more interaction with the gay subculture group. Cunnilingus and Lingus Modification Project. This part extends this theme to a wider range of sexual orientation and gender identity. In this part, I focus on the function of tongue in Cunnilingus and Lingus. There are 2 purposes of this project. One is to extend the length of tongue, and the other is to change the texture of tongue. There are also 2 parts of the project. The first part is a wearable device design, and the second is designing new surgery for tongue elongation and tongue texture transformation.
So after the project, I got my master degree of science in a dental school. So I think it's kind of challenging for me because I present this work in front of a group of medical professor and try to convince them to give me the degree, and it works in the end. So it's also kind of success in a way. So yeah, just what I said. Mostly medical technology used for curing disease and bring the normal function back to patient's body. But in my project, it's more like enhance the original functionality of human body. So after the project, I changed my interest from human sexuality to animal sexuality. So I found out when it comes to animal sex, for example, our pet sexual life, it doesn't matter because it hurts their health. So generally, vets suggest us to cut their sex organ for the pet's health. So mostly in the name of love. So, but in my opinion, I kind of feel a bit weird because do we really have the right, the power to cut off another species organ in the name? So I made the project about pet sexual life.
This project is co-collaborated by 4 people with their varied background. They deal with the proposition of pet sexuality from various perspectives. Amidst all the species on the planet, the act of sex plays an important role for all human and animal alike. For humans in modern society, sex is more than just an act to reproduce but also stands for pleasure. And for many people, it has to do with the intimate connection of affection. What about other animals? Is it easy to say that their sex is merely for reproduction? If pets really have the need of sexual desire, how should we deal with it? Do we really have the right to remove the organ in the name of love? In contrast to human case, if there is an adequate contraception method available for pets, is it possible for pets to enjoy the right of sex? Is there any chance for us to sympathize with animals regarding their sexual desire? In this project, the contraception technology for pets will have been well developed in order to extend the concept of humans using an app to look for sex or date for their pets, like some future version of Tinder or Grindr to allow an owner to look for a sexual partner for their pets. For the same scenario, considering there might be the need of a pet, after finding a sexual partner to live closer to its partner, we reverse the patron-client relationship, which reflects that a pet's living environment have always depended on humans alone. Furthermore, it forces us to rethink the spatial planning according to pet sexual behavior and preference, to reimagine common living spaces and public spaces of the future, and to design prototype to accommodate this imagination ranging from pet apartment, hotel, cruising park, and so on. In order to explore possibility of social networking between people, we will plan the imagined future city space in 30 years, and reshape the shared space based on the imagination of pets' sexual right. We even collaborated with FACT to hold a speed dating for dogs. We invited the audience with their dogs to join the future scenarios. In the event, people need to imagine they were in the future, so it is like participatory performance and engage the public to experience the fictional world like we constructed.
So after the project, I did a project in England, in Liverpool. So after that, I moved to the Netherlands, and so I continued my interest about animal sexuality. So when I came to the Netherlands, I found out the news is about sexual abusement in Dolphinarium. So Dolphinarium is a very big ocean park in the Netherlands, and the story is about one person who actually work in an animal protection group, and he pretend he is a volunteer, and he went to the Dolphinarium and he filmed a video, and he found out the trainer is helping dolphin masturbate the genital, and the volunteer felt surprised, and he think it's a sexual abusement. But after the news and the media release, and the Dolphinarium claim actually is for release their pressure, and also for the breeding program of the ocean park. So for me, it's kind of weird and controversial, and also a bit like a dilemma, because if you are not the animal dolphin, so you don't know he's really happy, or maybe he feel like being sexually abused. So it's a very difficult question to answer. So after this, I got inspired from this news, and I made another project, try to something for dolphin sexual life.
Scientific research indicates that dolphins conduct the sexual activity simply for sexual pleasure apart from the purpose of reproduction, which makes them one of the few creatures that have the sexual activity similar to human ones. This project aims to create an imaginary scenario focused on the dolphin's sexual pleasure. Dolphin Eroticarium will be like a large, mobile vessel with an architectural space open to the sea, and it will sail around the water where dolphins are around for them to pass through freely. The space comes in 4 parts. In the sex toy playground area, there are all sorts of water tunnel and spaces for dolphins to swim through, as well as wall where sex toys designed in the shapes of dolphin genitals are installed for the dolphin to rub their genital against to reach sexual pleasure. Besides, scientists discovered that dolphins would poke a pufferfish with their mouth to make it release its toxin. With this chemical substance, dolphin can so obtain the feeling of bizarre bliss, which resemble the concept of human using recreational drugs. Therefore, recreational pufferfish drug area is that scientists extracting this substance for dolphin to safely use this dolphin-specific recreational drug in this area. In human-dolphin interaction area, under the guidance of trainer and scientists, visitor can help dolphin massage their genital to make them gain pleasure. Due to the observed dolphin-specific sexual transmitted disease by scientists, this park particularly incorporates a dolphin health center for STDs to provide dolphins with STD-related medical services. In human-dolphin interaction area, trainer will show the visitor how to examine dolphin genitals to look for disease symptoms. In this fictional future, people will arrange a series of innovative dolphin watch eco tours, including boat trip to the dolphin eroticarium to watch dolphins engage in sexual activities, interaction program to help dolphins get pleasure. The core of all this activity is an attempt to boost dolphin pleasure, which is differentiated from the past ocean park model that make dolphin performed for human entertainment.
In this work, actually the aim is trying to find a win-win system for both dolphin and human. So in the ocean park, dolphin can have fun in it with the sex toy and the recreational drug, and human also can go there to see dolphin. So it's like a future proposal for both species. So after that, I started working on my graduation work in Design Academy. So, I was interested in animal sexuality and human-animal interaction. So one day I saw the documentary Raising Extinction. Some of the scientists just tell us like there will be a mass extinction in this era because human keep eating the endangered species. Example, in Chinese speaking community, people eat endangered species for medication. So of course I saw it is terrifying, and I think as a human we want to do something for the planet, but at the same time I also feel like the international media keep blaming on Chinese community about Chinese medication, especially using the animal parts. I'm also feel a bit weird because actually when I was in Taiwan, and common to see the Chinese medical shop, which is selling this kind of product, and it's kind of part of our eating tradition. So I'm thinking like, is it possible also to find a win-win system for both, of course, protecting tiger or rhino, but also preserve my tradition, which is from my ancestors' wisdom. So I made a project. It's called Tiger Penis Project.
The huge demand for wild animal in traditional Chinese medicine poses a threat to endangered species, such as the use of tiger penis to increase virility. But TCM might have certain cultural values which differ from mainstream Western medicine. Therefore, Tiger Penis Project aims to resolve the conflict between health, culture, and environmental conservation through a new interpretation of TCM. In the speculative scenario, future Chinese medicine uses emerging biotechnologies to hybridize animals, which symbolize sexuality in different cultures like oyster and octopus in Japanese pornography. The hybrid animal part, which is culturally stronger than tiger penis, can replace the illegal poaching. I also derived this project with participatory performance for public engagement. The participant experienced this scenario by the whole process of going to a future clinic. This project uses design as a research method to hybridize TCM and Western biotechnology for speculating medical field future with more possibilities.
Project for me kind of interdisciplinary research because it combines design, of course, science and tradition all together to propose alternative way of eating animal parts. But it's also for me, it's like it's a design project in design school. But for me, it's not like traditionally design some object or graphic. It's more like designing a new tradition, and this tradition is a new culture which can replace the old one, but extend the core value of our old wisdom. So I found out it's not only a Chinese problem. Actually, all over the world, Japanese kill dolphin and whales or other area also have a similar conflict between animal protection and traditional culture things. Like in Spain, there's a bullfighting performance. It's a traditional performance. There's cultural value, but it hurts animal. So I found out it's a serious global issue. So if I can develop this kind of research methodology, is it possible to apply to each area and different region to solve this kind of difficult conflict between the tradition and the environmental conservation? So that's my next step to develop it and to do other project to collaborate with different specialists to extend this kind of research methodology. So, yep, that's it. Thank you. Yep. No, it is what I designed, the thing, the hybrid, I call it hybrid animal part, because theoretically I want to combine different animals' gene, DNA all together, and insert it into one cell and use tissue culture technology to grow them a lot and 3D bioprint them. So the shape of the new organ, which contains different characteristics, visually from different animal, and each animal symbolize sexuality in different culture. Like, no, it's difficult to define. Yeah, yeah. So it's living cell in it, but it's not animal in a way. So the core value is in Chinese medicine, we believe it the shape of the organ. So for example, we eat, my mom tell me like I should eat more heart. It's good for my heart. Or for example, my favorite is eating pig's brain. The tradition is good for your brain. So this kind of a bit like a culture myth. So in this project, the purpose is to extend this myth, and but at the same time, don't do no harm to animal. So that's why I still keep the shape of the tiger's penis and also engage other kind of animal into it. Yeah. At this moment, it's more speculative. I mean, it's the shape is created by recent a sculpture. But ideally, my next step is collaborating with scientists and grow them in real lab. So, but at this moment, for example, I did a workshop in Boston. So because how we eat this animal organ, sometimes we cook in the soup or we soak it in the white wine and we drink the wine every day like an eating ritual for enhance the not only sexual function but also sometimes find a balance in your body, you know, the Eastern way of medication. At the workshop, what I did is to put a lot of herbs into the white wine and also the animal organ. But the animal organ is fake at this moment, but the herbs is real. So the participant, they will drink the wine to taste it, to imagine in the future they can receive this medication. And do they really believe in it or not? So we have a debate and discussion, and people, the audience from different nationalities. So it's kind of interesting during the process. It's also very interesting because in the idea of Chinese medicine, it's not about you eat tiger penis and you get the power immediately. It's not Viagra. It's more like you should believe in it and you should communicate with your doctor of Chinese medicine, and they will the doctor will prescribe you with a specific combination of herbs, animal, stone, a lot of different ingredients. You soak it into the wine and you drink it, you know, more like a ritual things. So in the project, first of all, combine every animal together to make a new organ and with different herbs. And each of the herbs is also for the specific symptom. And you receive this combination. So during that workshop, each of the participants receive different recipe. So you eat different wine. So I try to also introduce a bit this kind of concept to the Western audience. Yeah. For example, a person from Mexico, and she told me actually they have similar culture things, and Dutch people, of course, it's a bit weird for them, and also if Chinese people or Taiwanese people, Asian people are kind of familiar with it. But it also depends on your age or your cultural background, because sometimes, for example, for me or a younger generation of from Asia, we don't believe in it. It's more like my grandparents' thing. So it's also another topic that I want to deal with it, because this kind of tradition in Asia, we kind of have an intention to get rid of it, because it's very old-fashioned. Believe in eating tiger penis for sexuality is totally nonsense. Especially I got the medical training in Western Science School. So, but after the project, I do find kind of cultural value in it. So that's why I try to find alternative way to doing it. Yeah.
Is it not important to have a real connection between, because I can understand that if you grow cells or something into a penis or an organ or whatever, it's not the real thing. Isn't it important for people who believe in that it has to have a connection to the real animal? Because I would not see a connection of power in something that was grown and not being that living tiger who exudes that power. If it was something that was grown in the lab, it doesn't have that power, so I would not have that connection to it.
I totally agree with you, because people definitely don't want to buy the artificial one of tiger penis, but so that's why in my proposal I try to propose a hybrid one, which engage other species like octopus or oyster. Sometimes they also symbolize sexual symbol in other culture, or like oyster maybe release zinc or other chemical substance, and build up a new image of the thing to create a new myth to convince people. So in this project, it's more like creating a new legend. So it's a new story and try to introduce the new story to the audience. So if as I know, a lot of company or other people, they are working on artificially 3D print the rhino horn, but I think it didn't. I saw some news, it didn't work because people don't buy it because it's artificial. So, yeah.
Because what you're talking about is doable already in stem cell technology.
I think most of the technology in my project is doable, but the
stem cell technology, you could use the original stem cell from a tiger, and it does not have to be a penis cell, but it can be different cell, and it should be stem cell. And I know companies in Holland already that are able to create, for instance, real heart beating stem cells, not real beating heart cells, made from stem cells, and stem cells are not from the heart, but from another organ, from a human being. So this is technology, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is technology that in Holland is here already, and this is very special for Holland, because we were very early being able by legal things to do these kind of experiments. So I saw, for instance, I think beating heart cells in a petri dish, I think in a company in Den Bosch about 8 years ago. It was really amazing and very interesting, because I was looking at the petri dish at beating heart cells, and were they human? The original material was human, but was that live? I was looking at it, is this live? It's a beating heart in cells in a petri dish. So I think this is very interesting for your design, to have a look at what's already being done in the Netherlands in stem cell technology, because your ideas are very interesting for the scientists to move forward. And you have very interesting ideas about the use of these stem cell technology. So I suggest you will have a look at it.
Thank you. Yeah, agree. Thanks. Your remark.
We're just going to have a quick break until 6:30, and then we're going to continue with the second talk. So if you want to go to the bathroom or get a drink, please do it now, and then we'll see you in a few minutes.